Some of the most popular kindness videos online aren't actually kindness. They're performances. And the moment the camera appears, you know. You've probably seen these videos on social media. Someone approaches a street vendor and buys everything they're selling. Someone hands a homeless person a wad of cash, and a camera zooms in on their reaction. Someone films themselves bringing food to a stranger on a sidewalk. And the captions say things like, "Kindness matters," or "Restoring faith in humanity." These videos are everywhere now, especially around the holidays, and they all follow the same pattern. A person in need is surprised, helped, recorded, and then the video is uploaded. And a moment that could have stayed between two people becomes a public performance meant for millions of viewers. The part that interests me isn't the act of giving, it's the role of the camera. Because the second a camera enters the scene, the meaning of the interaction shifts. Charity becomes content. Help becomes a spectacle. And the person receiving it becomes an image. People often say, well, they consented. But consent doesn't automatically make something dignified. Consent doesn't erase the power imbalance, and consent doesn't mean the moment isn't being used. The fact that the giver needs a camera tells you that the act is no longer about generosity alone. It's about presentation. It's about shaping how others will see them. Even when the intention is sincere, the performance is still happening. When you watch these videos closely, you can often see the complexity on the recipient's face. Gratitude, of course, but also a little discomfort, a kind of emotional exposure, because they're being asked to receive help while being watched. Their vulnerability is being documented in real time, and that documentation is the point. Their hardship is what gives the video emotional impact. Their need is the raw material. There's something psychologically heavy about that, right? Most people don't want their lowest moments broadcast to the world. Most people do not want millions of strangers to consume their struggle as inspiration. But in these videos, the dignity of the person receiving help becomes secondary to the image of the person giving it. That's the core of performative charity. The giver is not only helping someone, they're also performing a version of themselves for an audience. They're crafting a moral identity. They're signaling something about who they are. The camera gives them that opportunity, and the algorithm awards it. Genuine generosity protects a person's dignity. Performed generosity uses it. And what's fascinating is that people know this. Even viewers who say the video made them feel good also describe an unease they can't quite explain. That unease is the recognition that something has been taken from the recipient. Not money, but privacy. Not autonomy, but dignity. The good feeling the audience gets is purchased with someone else's exposure. Around Christmas, this phenomenon becomes more common because the cultural pressure to appear generous intensifies. But appearing generous is not the same as being generous. Real charity doesn't need documentation. It doesn't need to be shared, edited, captioned, or optimized. It doesn't ask the person receiving it to be grateful on camera. It just helps. And that's why these videos can feel so distorted. They frame themselves as kindness, yet they reveal how easily kindness can be repurposed into content. The act may be genuine, but the performance is real too. And when help becomes a stage, something essential is lost. Charity that needs an audience is no longer only about the person in need. It becomes part of someone's brand, and the world can feel that difference, even if they can't fully articulate it. That's a conversation worth having. Not whether helping is good, but what happens when helping becomes a public performance, when generosity turns into a display, when someone's most vulnerable moment becomes a prop for someone else's moral image.